How we doing, everybody? Kent Howard with Green Mountain Defense, coming at you today with another video that I'm doing for the Sonoran Desert Institute School of Firearms Technology. This is for my FTT 111 class. Today is the 5th, I think, of November, 8 o'clock. Anyway, so what we're going to do today is we're going to show how to basically field strip this firearm, disassemble it, clean it, and then perform a function check. Why is a function check important? Well, a function check is important because we want to make sure that the gun does the same things mechanically after disassembly as it does prior to disassembly. So, in other words, with a magazine in the gun, when we pull the slide back, of course, there is no ammunition in the chamber. Therefore, the slide should lock back. We can remove the source of ammunition, which is the magazine. You'll notice there's no ammo in the chamber, no ammo in the mag. Matter of fact, no ammo anywhere on this side of my basement because this is where I work, and we don't like putting holes in things we don't want holes put in. So, once we've done that on this Glock pistol, we've removed our source of ammo. We can show that there's nothing in the chamber. I hope that focuses. Cool deal. We can send the slide forward, and we can press the trigger. Once the slide reciprocates, the trigger should reset and then be able to be pressed again. That's how the gun's functioning currently. In order to clean it, we will press the trigger, move the slide back just a hair, pull down on the disassembly tabs, allow the slide to flow forward naturally, separating the upper and the lower half of the Glock. So we've done that. We can remove the recoil spring assembly, and we can remove the barrel. Seeing as I've done this pretty recently and only shot one match and class, this gun isn't as dirty as it normally would be. But we'll go through a modest cleaning just to demonstrate what we would do. Get a little of the solvent, carbon destroyer, couple patches, and the first thing that we're going to do is run a wire bristle brush through the barrel. Always go breech to muzzle if you have the option. Of course we do here because this is a Glock pistol barrel. And out he comes. Again, breech to muzzle. Out he comes. A little bit of nasty on my fingers, but not too much. Really didn't think there would be. Okay. After that process, we will install our cleaning jag, which holds our patches. Jag through the patch, come to a triangle fold at the back. Hopefully the camera's focusing on this. Like so. Now add just a little more solvent. Run through the barrel just one more time as I knock my stuff over on the other side. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. Just like that. I'm going to wet the inside of the barrel with solvent. Coming out a tad dirty, but again, really, this didn't need to be done on this particular gun. This is just for demo purposes. I'm going to sit that aside for now. And I'll let that solvent chill out in my barrel a little bit and do its magic. Scotch tape, hang on 2 seconds. Always want to make sure I use some of this handy dandy, super important painter's tape or scotch tape or whatever you want to call this on the optic in order to make sure we don't get any solvent on the optic glass itself. Add a little solvent to our friend Mr. Brush here. Again, we're doing a very cursory, quick demo of this. This would take me considerably more time and more attention. But this thing's pretty well clean. Go to town on the frame rails, underside of the slide. Just like so. Go back afterwards with a patch. Pull up whatever nastiness you just loosened up. I think this is one of those things that you could do for hours and hours and hours and hours and still come back with dirty patches. Especially depending on the strength of solvent you're using. You could start pulling paint. But this stuff won't do that. Just like that. Go back with a totally dry patch. Pull all the nasty out, like so. Coming back pretty well clean. A little bit of throughput there on my finger, but pretty well good to go. Set him aside. Repeat the same process on the lower, or the frame, as it were. Hit the frame rails with some of that solvent. Back here by the ejector, slide stop. Right there. Locking block. Get right after it. Then, of course, we go back. I'm going to come back with a nasty patch, a time or two. It's amazing what just a little shooting can do to these guns. Just shot this thing in a outlaw match just this past Sunday. It's already nasty. Just like so. Now that we've allowed our solvent to chill in a barrel for just a little while, we're going to go back after him. Again, making sure that we have a dry patch. Just like so. Breech to muzzle. If you learn one thing, I think I've repeated that about 20 times at this point. Dry that bad boy out. Now that we're done with our solvent, we can come back with our lubricant. Oh, yeah. Lube would be good. Almost just didn't put any lube on my patch. That would have been brilliant. Through here we go. Like so. Like so. Like so. Pretty damn clean barrel. Then I use a patch for this, and I'll lubricate the rest of what needs lubricated on this, which is basically the frame rails, the parts on the slide rails that match up with the frame rail. We don't want any lube in our striker channel, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously, but if there's lube in our striker channel, we risk gumming up our striker. So we want to avoid that. Lubricate the frame rails. And finally, lubricate parts of our barrel that are going to, boy is that worn, interact with our frame rails. This thing has been, dare I say, shot to shit. Things are a little worn and dirty. Well, not really as dirty as they are worn. Anywho. Once we put the barrel back in, we will reinsert the dual captured guy rod and recoil spring. This is a 4th gen slide and frame, by the way. We will then insert the slide onto the frame rails, running it the whole way back until it reciprocates the same way it did previously. Now, to the actual point of the video, the function check. What things can we function check? Well, for one thing, we can make sure that the slide reciprocates and goes back home under its own power. Additionally, we can press the trigger, make sure that the gun fires when the trigger is pressed. We can then, while pinning the trigger back to the rear, reciprocate the slide, allow the trigger to move forward. If you hear that click, that's the reset, and a new trigger pull would fire a new round. We have an empty source of ammunition. I seem to mess up slide stop springs a lot, so another thing I like to do is add an empty source of ammunition to the gun. Rack the slide, and you'll notice that the follower pushes up and locks the slide open. One last operation that we can take that I'm going to real quick is to make a correctly spec'd dummy round over here on our reloading press. This round will get no primer, no powder. We're going to skip that stage and go right over here. We're going to seat a projectile. And we are going to crimp our projectile. Having made a functional dummy round, being that there is no primer and no powder. Translation, no boom boom. In what way can we function check this gun? Well, we can make sure it will chamber correctly spec'd 9mm ammunition. As it does. No round in the mag, round inside the gun, and we can inject that perfectly made dummy round. Which I need to make some more dummies for training anyway, so that's all very well and good. There you have it. We have a gun that will chamber inert ammunition. Again, because this is for class, I want to make absolutely certain that we are aware that that is inert ammunition. We have a gun that will reciprocate. The trigger functions as normal when pinned to the rear and during reset. So we've covered all the major components of disassembly and reassembly. Alright, just to recap, we've removed the source of ammunition. We can run the slide, press the trigger to the rear and hold it, trigger resets. I'm left-handed, this is a Gen 4, so I don't have a right side slide stop, so I'm going to have to switch over. But if pushing up on the slide stop works correctly. I hate doing that, again, left-handed, but like so. Empty source of ammo goes in the gun and locks the gun open. And finally, the gun will chamber an inert dummy round that I just made on my press. Like so. And we'll also eject said dummy round. That is as far as we can go in the disassembly, clean, and reassembly process here on the bench. The only thing left to do from this point forward is to take the gun out, load actual ammo into the magazine, insert, rack, and begin to press the trigger. This is a 4th generation Glock 19 pistol. There is no thumb safety of any type. The only safety is the blade inside the CMC trigger. So, no safeties to disable or check. Just what you have here in front of you. This has been Ken Howard with Green Mountain Defense, doing FTT 111 Assignment 1. Thanks, everybody. Green Mountain Defense, out.